All right, so we are live, ladies and gentlemen. You see on the screen before you a man named Philip Bernella, or DSP, on YouTube. As you can see, my picture of him is not very complimentary because he is not complimentary. I have been listening to detractor content for years about this guy. And as you can see, his face is one of, yeah, I want you to believe me when I am lying to you. He plays video games, and he looks bored while he is doing it. He says he loves to play video games. He does not. Um, he does. He does spend a lot of time begging people for money. Like, could you please leave a super chat or a PayPal donation, super sticker, memberships please, and gives nothing in return. Oh, he gives emojis in the super chat. And you don't have to have slow motion when you are chatting with him. That is, if you can survive his fragile ego. You say anything in his chat that is contradictory or not to his liking, he will ban you. If you say he is not telling the truth, he will ban you. If you say something like, I am not feeling well, he tells you you are making it about yourself. Ban you. He calls his listeners dunces, idiots, and a host of other things that are not fit for YouTube postings. In other words, I'm not going to lower myself. He will lie to you and say that I am very positive. But how are you positive when you say things to your chat and to the world as a whole? Lick from my rear hole, you, and eat this. And he often flips off the screen many, many times. DSP has been doing this for 15 years. He constantly tells you he has been doing this for 15 years. He started out in the fighting game community. Fighting games, like the Street Fighter series, and I believe that's it. I don't think he expanded to other games very successfully. He did place in a game tournament many, 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 many years ago. I think it was 2004 Evo, on a corrupted port of on a corrupted port of Super Street Fighter 2, to where no one knew how to play that particular port very well except DSP. He was beaten by 3 international players from the nation of Japan, which he probably does not know exist. DSP spends his days mocking others, telling them how insignificant they are, how useless they are, how worthless they are. My, doesn't that sound like terribly positive content? As you see, when you go and look for him on YouTube, you will find maybe DSP Gaming, one video, and the rest are detractor contents about what a garbage, liar, bozo, noise pollution emissions from his mouth, phony, who is this guy, dumb on purpose, bozo, and pretty much he doesn't say it, but he does intend that he hates your guts. He's always making noises into his mic. He makes loud snorts and continually clears his throat. He's been doing that for 15 years. Please note that he has post-nasal drip. Well, congratulations, DSP. You know when you stream. You also know, that you have this post-nasal drip, as does now the entire internet, that you tell people many, many times during one podcast. Though, does he do anything to alleviate the symptoms so he is not constantly snorting or clearing his throat? No. Of all the detractor content that I can listen to him through, he has never suggested that he would take any medicines or any nasal decongestants products to be considerate of his streamers that he likes so much, so he claims. So, that tells you what he thinks of the individuals who are on his stream. Nothing. The only time he regards you as something worthwhile is when you give him money and expect nothing in return. He only cares about you as a dollar sign. I'm sure other streamers are like that. But DSP makes an art of it. He makes an art of belittling you. For, get this, I kid you not, I lie to you not, he will be infuriated if he does not get his donations. If you do not meet his donation goals of $50, he will throw a fit on stream and demand that you give him money. I said that correctly. Demand. Well, what do we get in return, DSP? You awful individual. You garbage-spewing MFer. You idiot. Correct? Nothing. You will get nothing from this man but continual contempt. Continual derision. There's so much about DSP that on the many detractor streams, and I comment, there are times when I must stop and I must consult the thesaurus, because you can only say audacity, you can only say liar, you can only say phony, hypocrite. You literally have to hit the thesaurus with this guy. I did not realize there were so many ways to call someone a hypocrite. This guy is a mother-freaking charlatan. Yes, he had a girlfriend many, many years ago who was very identical to him, but had enough self-respect for herself that she eventually left him there. And now, when she left him, and he kept that secret for a while, because to admit someone left your life because you are a filthy virus is an affront to his oversized ego. To admit someone despises you enough to leave you because you are a cretin, he cannot do, will not do, because his ego will not permit him. So, on the stream, weeks, maybe months after his first girlfriend left, he finally broke down and pretended to weep. Who will cook for me? Who will clean for me? Who will do my laundry? This man is 41 years old and incapable of basic hygiene, of basic cooking, and of basic self-care. Now, what else must I go on? Oh, yes, he carelessly left the camera recording on and caught masturbating on stream. He was unaware the camera was on. However, he was looking at the console during the time. He was looking over the console while his penis was being stimulated by his hand while he was looking over the console. For someone so ridiculous to not be aware or not to see a notice on your screen that the camera is active and broadcasting, you have to be pretty freaking ridiculous. To understand this, that you are sitting in front of your laptop or whatever device you are doing. You are sitting on the couch. Your pants are down. And you normally stream from that device. Why on earth would you sit in that particular spot and commence to masturbate in front of a camera you normally use for streaming? I would normally say you cannot be that stupid. But yes, this man is that stupid. I have nothing kind to say about him. He lost friends over the years simply because they did work for him. I believe it was Project 7. Over time, his filching of the profits from this Project 7 they made and robbing from his friends cost him their relationship of over 10 years. One of his friends died, but at the time of the death of one of his friends, that relationship had eroded to nothing. And one of his ex-companions, out of a courtesy, simply said, "So-and-so is dead." So, DSP fires up the camera, puts on a cowboy hat and a vest, and pretends to cry over the loss of his friends. But pay attention to the dialogue he uses. It is all about how he affected him and everything about his life. Nothing about this Tim character or Scott character. It was always, it's not fair that death happens to the young. I submit to you, DSP, that why should you care? You abuse these individuals while you were in a phony friendship with them. You have no friends because you drove them away. Because of your greed, your projection, your sloth, your inability to speak kindly of anyone unless it somehow loops to you. DSP Gaming is not a gaming channel. It is a channel to which this bozo, with, yes, a vacant mind, loops his own misery. Loops him going out to the grocery store and the horrors it was of going out to the grocery store and picking up an online order. He will make an entire hour pre-stream. And he will expect you, of course, to give him money while he is doing this. He will make an hour stream about the difficulties of going next to the curb of a grocery store and picking up an order he has placed online. He will spend hours upon hours talking about the products that were misplaced or not ordered or missed, when a simple click on the Contact Us would be more than useful than telling us how your experience did not go the way you wish, how your experience of just being ridiculous. You sit there and you fume. You call these people, these workers who got your products for you at no additional cost to you. They spent a good hour or two, maybe 3, hunting down the groceries in the store. And usually it is a fairly large store. And you sit there with your mouth, your noise pollution emitter under your nose that babbles this stuff of how stupid they are, how incompetent they are. And rather than taking the time to fill out a simple questionnaire or request for service, which maybe have taken you 5 to 10 minutes, you spend over an hour calling these people names, saying how dumb they are, and while hinting how brilliant you are the entire time. And rather than reaching a solution, you just say, "I don't know." You are a 41-year-old man who spends 6 days a week on the internet. You have no idea of how to fill out a proper request for service form on these websites, on Walmart or on DoorDash. If there is something wrong with your product, the product that you received, that you paid for, yes, you are entitled to excellence. If it is not to your satisfaction, there are products missing, or the item was not delivered to you properly, you can take that time, instead of screaming at us about how stupid these people are, you could take that time, 5 to 10 minutes, and fill out a form, and be done with it and go about your day. No, you must make it an hour or two extravaganza of self-pity, of loathing others, of projection, of looping over and over the same materials we had just covered, instead of filling out the form. DSP, this should not have to be to explain to you. In your arrogance and your superiority, over all that you survey, over all that you talk to us behind your camera and your keyboard, you tell us how superior you are to us. You look down upon us. But for what? What have you done that is more superior to anything anyone else has done? You are addicted to mobile gaming. Your records have been documented to indicate that you have spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars, sometimes in one day, on WCW Champions, which is simply a match 3 game. Candy Crush, to better be succinct. Imagine spending $3 or $4 grand in one day on Candy Crush. I do not know how that is physically possible. How do you do that? Because you just told us you have these bills you must pay. You must pay rent. You must pay power. You must pay this bill, like the internet bill. You must pay this. You must pay that. You must pay the IRS. You must pay for groceries. Very well. I don't mind helping you if the need was legit. And maybe every once in a while. But no. Genius, the vacancy of mind, DSP, will put thousands of dollars into a mobile game, and it vanishes into nothing. He gets in return JPEGs of sweaty, muscular men. We get more begging, more lies, more obfuscation, more misdirection, more projection, more belittling, more demands for money that he is not entitled to, and more arrogance, more lies, more saying that I don't attack others, but yet he will always talk about other content creators, belittling them, saying how wonderful his gameplay is. In other words, he sits there and looks thoroughly bored. He does not try to play a successful game. He does not try to master it. He spends a lot of time, sometimes, yelling and screaming at the screen. And sometimes he is joking that way. I find nothing amusing about a grown man screaming and yelling at a game screen. If you are unable to control your temper, then the best thing for you to do is to shut off the stream and go find something else to do. No, you can't do that. You cannot milk people of money when you go do something constructive with your time. Oh, pardon me, I guess I am the idiot for not realizing that you must sit on your ass playing video games that you hate, dealing with people that you actually despise. Yes, despise. Pardon me. Get this out my mouth. Notice I took it out of my mouth rather than spat. There, DSP, it is possible to take care of things without making horrific noises into the mic. I have not yet once cleared my nose or cleared my throat into the mic, and this has been at least 30 minutes or more. Hey DSP, you can do the same. Yes, you can take medications to handle your drip. Now, I'm going to eventually post this, and I guarantee you, this man will find it. One of his many flying monkeys, his servants, those who wish to throw money at him like he is some sort of demagogue or whatever the heck he is to them. They will say, Yuri Kendal has made a horrible video about you, and he has painted you as a bozo. He will find me, DSP will find me, and he will mock me. He will tell me my videos are terrible. My name will be in his mouth for many months and weeks to come. Do it, DSP. I dare you. Because I have time. You do not. I am on disability for mental health issues for many, many years. I've learned how to deal with those issues over time. I make very little money on disability. Unfortunately, due to where I am living at is, I'm kind of stuck on it. When you have mental health issues in this country, it is very costly to treat them. And without the insurance necessary, you are up SOL in this country. So, I'm sure DSP will mock me and say that I am lesser than him because I am on disability. I tell you what, DSP, you produce the insurance for me that will pay the cash price of a Corvette for 1 week in a psych ward. Then you and I can talk, maybe. Oh, I'm sorry, the medications. Are you willing to provide a medication plan that will cover 1 month's dose of one of my medications, which is anywhere to $1,000 to $500? What? No? Well, then you may STFU. You ridiculous, contemptuous, subhuman virus. I listen to what comes out of your mouth at times. I am astounded. In 30 seconds or less, you throw entire brickloads of sheer manure, hypocrisy, double standards, begging. I do not understand how you could do this. And again, your face demands that we believe you, even though we both know you are a filthy, contemptuous scammer, liar. You make promises to people you do not keep. And yes, that has cost you IRL. There are relationships that are now long gone because of your unwillingness to keep the basics of promises. The 3 individuals that you worked with on Project 7 want nothing to do with you because of your scumminess. You chose to turn on them, even though Rambo assisted you in going to the Machinima Convention, to which you acted foolishly during that time. You walked around and stood in line so many hours when you had a press pass to surpass that. You did not fulfill the requirements of Machinima and filmed the required media content that they asked for. You did not meet up with your chaperones there, who would have guided you through the process and made sure that your time at those conventions was most meaningful for you and Machinima. No, you went to film food court videos. You went to film how awesome your hotel room was. Okay, did you film the required content that Machinima asked you? No, you did not. Of course, you will sit there and lie through your teeth, saying you did, or it's always someone else's fault. Did I say you were a narcissist? I don't have to, because the words, "it was my fault," will never come out of your mouth. The words, "I am responsible," will never come out of your mouth. It is always someone else who does this. It is always someone else who says the lies. It is always someone else who whines unnecessarily. It is always someone else who creates drama that is not necessary and could simply be handled off stream with a simple customer service request. It is a simple matter to maybe not spend money on games you will not like. You have bought many hundreds of games and spent thousands of dollars wasted on them. You play them for a stream or two. No one gives you money for them, so you simply abandon them. You played Street Fighter 6. You hated it because you got beat many, many, many times. I will say that you did succeed in a few victories, but these were weak players, and you beat them easily. Now, I will say that in your past, you managed to beat Justin Wong. Justin Wong is a well-known name in the fighting game community. He has placed many times in many tournaments of many various different fighting games, mostly in the top 3 or in the top 5, consistently. DSP has not done that on any standard game. Only that twisted, corrupted port or variant of a Super Street Fighter game that no one wanted to play, but a few handful of players, of which you placed 4th out of. 4th gets you nothing. You did say because you placed 4th and you were the highest ranking American. You said you were the best American Street Fighter player in the nation at the time. No, that is not how that works. You are not the best American at anything. You placed 4th while 3 other individuals from Japan beat you. Placing 4th in a contest is not the best at anything. Yes, you can say I am the best American because I placed 4th in a contest. That sounds very hollow. Though, of course, as you see on the screen, the word vacancy is on his forehead, because that's exactly what is there. DSP also has an addiction to alcohol. How do we know this? Because consistently, when DSP's bank statements are leaked, they are consistently indicating of buying wine. He goes to stores with the name wine in them. And it is assumed that he is not buying Coke, like the soft drink. He is buying gin. He says as much. He drinks sometimes heavily on the stream until he is ridiculously drunk. Sometimes he will show up drunk. It is difficult to understand how Phil could speak the way he does. It is not humanly possible for him to speak the way he does, unless his brain was somehow fried. Notice that if you bother watching content, and do watch it through a detractor, he will use his body to sway left, right, forward, and back to emphasize points. He literally uses his upper torso as punctuation, and stresses, sometimes making weird-ass faces into the camera, to make a point. I have never seen this before in any regular speaker. Most people use their hands. They do not sway their bodies to make punctuation. They do not make goofy faces to make punctuation and to add emphasis to points that are usually deceitful in nature. And if you listen to his speech long enough, you will be able to pick up on the lies that he's going to open with, such as, now, to cover this quickly, no, he will initiate an hour-long speech about absolutely nothing. It will be sentences put together, but it will essentially be new noise pollution, making very little sense. It is raw sewage thrown at the microphone, garbage receptor there. And yes, I wrote the word "I hate you" on his shirt, because that's exactly what it is. He takes no time to make video content worthwhile. He makes content demanding that you give him money for simply what? I should talk, right? I get money for existing. But I have a disability. Would I love to be able to have a regular job and work without a mental illness that would derail me? Wouldn't that be awesome if we lived in a country to where that could help with that? But no. So, I am stuck here. But I am not whining. I will never ask you for money. Well, that's not true. I can back up. I am, of course, collecting money for, a little bit myself. But there's also a charity link, the coffee link, in the description of this channel. I am helping to raise money for various charities that usually help people who are poor or with food, like food banks, or who need critical care for the elderly, who are alone and have nothing but the facility to help them at. That is the money I am raising for. And that, I feel, is something worthwhile I can do. I try to collect money in $80 increments. 1% is to me, 5% is to the coffee site, and then the rest goes to the charity. Very simple. Not at all hard. A simple setup coffee link. It took me all of 10 minutes, at the very least. I submit to you, Mr. Virus, Mr. Parasite, DSP, what charity have you contributed to? Show us. Show us the value you have other than being a parasite upon us. Show us the value of your virtue, of your great intelligence, of your great common sense. Everyone else is an idiot. So show us your mighty intellect. Show us all of your virtue that is beyond compare, that is upon a pedestal. Please show us anything. Anything at all, DSP. No, you cannot, because you do not. The classic narcissist, the toxic narcissist. This man, at times, when I listen to him through detractor content, and do not misconstrue this, I do not know where he lives. And I'm glad I do not know where he lives. Because listening to him for long enough, knowing that he is lying, looping, being verbally abusive to others, and the constant snorting and throat clearing in a deliberate manner into his garbage receptor microphone. I call it garbage receptor because that's exactly what it receives. Garbage. To listen to him long enough, there are just times when, if I was close to him or in his bedroom and he was talking thus, I would put a pillow over his face just to get him to shut up. I promise you that is not my normal standard of behavior. I would never put a pillow over anyone's face. The urge to kill someone is not something that is normally me. But with this contamination upon this planet, I would not consider it murder. I would consider it removal of a contaminant. Yes, he is human on that. Yes, he is a human life. But on that alone, there is merit. No other merit, though. He is someone that, if you can, leave behind in a dangerous town, do so. Because he will only cause you misery, harm, loss, anguish. He gaslights so much that I am surprised he cannot cook up an entire barbecue in one stream. That is his level of gaslighting. What is that, mind you? That is when somebody questions your version of reality. They cook up stories and apply them to you, or they project onto you. That didn't happen. Why, yes it did. I saw you do it. I've had that game played on me before. It did not work. However, the gaslighter will stay with it. DSP's narcissism is part of... Yes, gaslighting is part of DSP's narcissism. You will not win anything with DSP. but his scorn and contempt. And I am here to tell you, DSP, ever since your entitled childhood, where your parents did not get you the figurine that you wanted right then and there, you commanded your parents to get you something. You called them names when they did not. I cannot believe a child like you existed without something to direct you. I cannot believe an individual like you even exists. I mean, I could understand some of the other locales, Cyrex, King Cobra, which I don't like to physically look at. I'm not trying to be cruel, but I just really rather not look at them if there is nothing valuable coming from them but lies and arrogance and foolishness. You know, I mean, I can get over a physical difference in someone if there's something to back it up. But if there's not, they're simply someone who is simply ugly on the inside and on the outside. So I don't bother with them. I also don't spend a whole lot of time watching them scream into the mic over nothing, listening to their nonsensical. Chris Chan is not someone I care to listen to very much. I listen to a lot of his commentary and content through detractor channels as well. But to listen to him speak is ridiculous and boring, and it's just beyond the pair. DSP, though, is unique. He may have autism, but he is functional enough to be a saner adult, while the other ones may not be. Cyrex, King Cobra, Chris Chan may not be able to be functioning. Oh, what's the other one that's going out that was homeless? He also has autism, but unfortunately, he doesn't seek any help because he's abused that, and he tears up the places that he stays at. I forgot his name, but he is someone else who also refuses to take responsibility and is physically abusive and has been kicked out in the middle of the night of a shelter that he lived in because he was abusing the staff. I do not know. But that's the kind of stuff I don't really care to engage. Like individuals who may not know any better, who may not have the functionality to understand what is better. That doesn't excuse their misbehavior. That doesn't excuse a whole lot of things. They're Chris Chan and crew. They are told what is correct and incorrect. And they still choose to pursue it otherwise. And they may not understand what they're doing is incorrect, but if they choose to continue to make the same mistakes, despite promptings, then eventually it is their responsibility and their decision. So, I don't engage that. Besides, I've heard enough about Chris Chan on the college campuses and whatnot. I think he's in jail now for messing with his grandmother in a sexual way. And I'm sorry, I just, they may not have known any better. It might be under the influence. I don't know what goes on in his head, and I frankly do not care. If that is entertainment for you, you go for it. This guy entertains me, as in the train wreck that you cannot stop watching. You cannot stop, sort of listening to. Through the many detractors who come across the same footage of DSP and offer their various interpretation of what is going on. And it's usually the same stuff. And it gets more ridiculous, more vile, more scummy, more abusive. DSP does. And more ridiculous, to the point to where sometimes detractors have to make several videos a day on just one guy. Now, what else can I say? Oh, yeah, he talks about financial responsibility but has several bankruptcies and is always begging for more money so he can put more money on sweaty, half-naked JPEGs on his cell phone by him at thousands of dollars. Hey, you go, champ. Tell us all about that financial responsibility with money you didn't earn. And he tells us, like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't earn my money either. But, I got it through disability. I did not get it through begging people. I did not get it through acting like this clown. And I have worked in the past in security and whatnot. It's just sometimes, all night security just does not work. In the weird case of where I'm at on my financial status, if I make too much money, I lose quote unquote benefits. And you say, but you're working. But it's more of a loss. Like, I earn $100, but I lose $50 or $60 worth of benefits. So, I make $50 in the check. Oops, I have to pay out of gas and everything else for that. Oh, yes, I must now pay higher copays to go see the specialist I need to go see. Oh, well, there went that money. Oh, I'm in the negative. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a life, and I deal with it. I'm not whining, I'm just explaining. It's part of it. Some of you may know people who have disabilities other than mental health issues, that they are on disability and face similar challenges. This man in front of me, this bozo, this reprehensible walking pile of willful garbage, is nothing like that. When you ask, hey DSP, you collected over $300 in tips. How could you ask us for more? Surely that is enough to pay off something. He will tell you indignantly, it's none of your business. Au contraire, that's called embezzlement, when we take funds for one thing and spend it on another, especially in the cases of charity. You are charity. When you say, I need money for this, you get it for this, and you spend it on something else. That is fraud, DSP. I don't know if that's embezzlement or not, but that money is not really yours. That money is put into a stewardship for you to pay the bills you whine that you say you need. That money is given to you in a stewardship to pay for the groceries you claim to need. That money is put in a stewardship to pay for your light bill. Put in a stewardship to pay for your garbage. Put in a stewardship so you can eat out that night. Yes, DSP, you are a poor steward of what is given to you. And, what's worse, you demand it. You act that you are entitled. You whine when you don't get enough. I don't know what to say. Except that that is the most ridiculous existence I have ever heard. Nowhere have I ever heard such an existence. Like Chris Chan and Cyrax and King Cobra, as ridiculous as they have aspects of fraud. You, however, take the cake. They may not know. They may not understand some things. They may not completely pick up on the social cues. You, on the other hand, should. Your level of autism is not so destructive or so debilitating that you cannot learn, that you cannot understand, that you cannot interact on a successful level. But you don't. You sit in your house 6 days a week, demand money. And then 1 day a week you go to the grocery store and make a big to-do out of all the things you spent running around during the day. Doctor visits, this visit, that visit. I don't have any time to spend with my wife. What do you mean you don't have any time to spend with your wife? Who controls the streaming but you? No one else but you. No, you don't need to stream 6 hours a day. That is ridiculous. Break it up. 2 hours on a stream. Go spend time with Cat. Go out in the park somewhere. Walk. You live in a city, I think Renton, Washington. Isn't there a bus system that you could ride and park and travel throughout Washington and go seeing the sights? It's a beautiful area. Go, walk among the grass, the trees. Maybe meet people and make small conversation. Maybe join a book club and learn conversation. Maybe even learn a second language. Oh, but Phil barely speaks English. He does speak English and in sentences, but it is not fluent English. He puts words in sentences that are not contextually correct. Oh yes, he will come at me. Yuri, Kendal, you're an idiot. You're not getting everything I'm saying in context. But yet, yes, there is the evidence. The evidence on the videos from your past and from your present and from what I know you will seek me out on in the future. You seek to have interviews, to give you a fair shake. DSP, I challenge you to take that opportunity and engage with me on a stream with this as the background, because you deserve nothing less. And I will stay off the screen. And you can go up there and say what you need to. And then I will respond and ask you questions based on the response that you tell me. Just like they did at Side Scrollers. Side Scrollers is a gaming news sort of channel, curios, odd stuff, whatnot. I'm not fully successful with it, largely because I don't care for their content. And that's nothing against any of them. Well, yes, it is. One of them used to work for, God, what was his name? Tim Pool, I believed, and he spoke like him. So I think I'll pass. And they engage in, Midland kind of content. Studying Craig, I don't have anything against him. He's very sharp, from what I perceive, very outgoing and whatnot. Probably be cool to meet off the stream. And it's just too cheery for my liking. It just feels a little light. But some people enjoy it, and they have made themselves known throughout the DSP universe, or Detractorverse, because of their interview with Phil. That interview took 5 hours, and it was frustrating. They continually challenged Phil on his misdirection, his lies. The famous line now heard that Stuttering Craig told DSP during the interview. DSP, what are you saying? These things about finances. Can you help us? Can you help it make sense? Nothing they asked of him was unreasonable. In fact, Stuttering Craig offered him an attempt to clear the rumors of his cell phone WWE addictions. He was offered that out gracefully by Stuttering Craig, which DSP declined. Then another individual, Keemstar. I am completely not interested in Keemstar. He strikes me as a drama ambulance type of chaser. And, some people are into that. I just don't care for it. Usually in a lot of detractive videos of many other, people who have drama or shortcomings or failings, there he is. There he is, putting his nose in there, putting his face in there, busting down the ambulance door, so to speak. There he is. So Keemstar, the drama ambulance chaser, no thank you. He is everywhere on the net. I don't have anything against him. I don't have anything other than you are too much. You are like, everywhere I look, there you are. There you are, acting the clown. Okay, my man. He is another variant of Locow. And his motives are questionable at best. I personally don't engage his content except when he coexists with other content that I am engaging. There he is. And he can at me if he chooses to. I'm like, it's like, Keemstar, I don't have any issues with you. Let's not have any, okay? You know, don't chase another drama ambulance. There's nothing here for you, my man. But the reactions and the interaction he had between DSP was fair, just, and solid and direct. Keemstar is many things, but I do not fault him for being dishonest. Maybe unscrupulous in some cases, or maybe unclear in his motives, or maybe just picking up the hive's nest and collecting the bees or the wasp for the money. Such is his prerogative. He may do so. I don't engage in it. Fine. Though for Keemstar to be so open and so direct with DSP in an unexpected arrival on side scrollers. Apparently, Keemstar was watching the side scroller event and chimed in, asking to be let into the interview. Stuttering Craig, the host, and Adam, the co-host, agreed. They asked DSP. DSP, Keemstar would like to join this interview. Are you comfortable, DSP, with Keemstar joining the interview? DSP readily said yes. And for over an hour, DSP and Keemstar went over their method of contact, over an inquiry that Keemstar gave DSP over a $50,000 payment for for becoming part of a local cast. He was willing to pay someone named by the Wings of Redemption, another individual, similar to DSP, but fairly different, and another one, Boogie 99, another individual in the same classification, but fairly different. And I could say that Jordy and Boogie, they try their best to be parts of the society. They engage in a boxing match to, like gladiators. Nothing came of it. But Jordy has helped charity, and Boogie has helped people. Neither are exactly stellars of virtue. But Boogie, he knows how to get into a nice Corvette and drive it into a lake on purpose. And Jordy, the Wings of Redemption, chooses to remain depressed and take no action to help his case better. Though, I don't know if he's deceitful or anything like DSP. I think simply Jordy needs to make the effort to make his life better rather than wail in it and whine that his life is terrible. Make an effort, Jordy, to improve your life. Think about other things you could do. You can do many other things besides play the same game day in and day out and whine how terrible your life is. You alone have that choice and that power. You have a supportive wife, and you have a community that would be supportive of you and has been supportive of you. My counsel, Wings of Redemption, Jordy, is to stop believing your own lies about how worthless you are and create a narrative that I can instead of I cannot, because it will become I will not. And that is your own tragedy. As far as Boogie 98 concerns, well, dear heart, you're just going to have to come up with another story. You've had millions and you've burned billions. Bought nice cars, bought nice houses, and you have nothing to show for it. That's about as bad as I am. But literally how you've handled Boogie 298, how you've handled your wealth, is that you bought really nice cars in a literal sense, and then you wrecked them in the same day by driving into a lake, so to speak. So, Boogie 298, you must work better. You must do something different with your life. And playing the same whining thing. Yes, you were abused as a child. But many people who are watching this video were abused as a child and chosen to figure out ways to get over it. It is not always easy. But if you remain as an abused child throughout your life, an abused child you will be treated as. And it is up to you to take action to change different. That's weird for me to saying that. And I'm by no means a person of great knowledge on that. I'm not a psychologist or a therapist. I just know that you kind of really have to work on what you're telling yourself over the years. You know, if you're telling yourself you are a loser, and a loser you will be. If you tell yourself that, okay, this is not the best situation, how can I change this to make a better outcome in this moment, in this day, in this week, in this month? What are steps that is within your control to change such things? This is the room that Jordy must learn. And this is the thing that Boogie 298 must learn. This room, though, has been shown to DSP consistently. Time and time again. DSP, the rune for change is upon you. What do you do for it? I lie, and I spit upon it, and I break it in half, and throw it into the garbage, and I blame everyone else for giving me that opportunity. I shred the hand that gives me that. I destroy the rune of opportunity, time and time again. You know, I make enemies of those who would help me. I make enemies of those who were my friends. I spew contempt to those who would give me large amounts of money for very low effort, because it is all about me. My ego must remain in pristine condition. I will sacrifice my very life for my ego. As long as I can put "it is someone else's fault" on my tombstone, I am content to die the fool. And there, DSP, is where I think I shall leave it. My challenge is to you. You will follow up on this. You will say things to me. And I may or may not respond. But I am tired, DSP, of you. I will continue listening to the detractor content. I will continually put astounding comments of how ridiculous you are, of how much sewage you can spew in under 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sitting there listening to this man lying like 5 or 6 completely out of touch reality lies in under 30 seconds. 30 seconds. That man told reality twisting lies in under 30 seconds. How in the Billy hell do you do that? I literally do not know. The thing that amazes me the most about this man is his propensity for deceit. His propensity for deceiving himself. His propensity for projection. His propensity for, getting out of the way of responsibility. His protection for rejection of everything decent. His propensity for a refusal to change. His propensity for decay. His propensity for laziness and sloth. His propensity to twist his ridiculous behavior, childish behavior, and say, "I was only joking." His propensity for being a bigot quietly. His propensity for willful failure. DSP, as Tom has pointed out, and many has pointed out, you are a failure. You chose the path of failure. You threw away your many rooms of opportunity that came upon you, the doors that are open. You literally closed them and you set them ablaze. Only you do that, DSP. I cannot think of anyone who works so hard at avoiding responsibility, who works so hard to remain not going forward, not staying still, but in regression. DSP, you are regressing. You have indeed lost weight, but now you look like a sucker. Your body is that of a stick, and your head is larger than the circumference of your body. You've lost too much weight. And you should consider, like you said, you used to be a weightlifter. Well, dear heart, why not take some time and go to the gym once a week for a little while? You have the money for it. You could go to the gym, get out, and be around people. At least look at them. At least say hi, hello, are you using this? Can you do that, DSP? Will you do that? Are you afraid someone will meet you there and say, hey, is that DSP up there on the, bench press? He's only lifting 10 pounds. But I assure you, DSP, no one cares that you exist. In that sense. Oh, but you say others don't care if they don't exist. You say, oh, Yuri Kendal does not exist. If he suddenly vanished, no one would care. And I'm like, DSP, that is projection. You are the one who will disappear. However, people will care that you have died or left this planet. They will rejoice. Because it is like the Wicked Witch of the West. Except the Wicked Witch of the West was played by a good actress, and it played a role. You, on the other hand, do not play the role. You are the fool. You are the cancer. You are the failure that you choose to have become, DSP. So, my final challenge to you. Face me. You ridiculous clown. Face me. Face my challenge. Come to me. Let's have this interview you so desperately want. Let us see how you stand up to your own falsehoods, to your own projection, to your own willful choices of a lack of character. I cannot say that you have character, but you are the character of the fool upside down. You are that poor man, no, you are that man who, as opposed to being careful with his decisions and boldly striking out, no, you already know the dangers and you do not care. You somehow believe that these people will come out of nowhere to rescue you with a large sum of money. Money that you chose to spend on sweaty JPEGs as opposed to being responsible. You have made hundreds of thousands of dollars each year from these individuals who you have, I will say, scammed. And I challenge you to prove otherwise, DSP, that you do not run scams. This recent Halloween festival you declined to have because you had a cold. Oh my word, DSP, you could have had it before Halloween. You could have put on your expensive costume before Halloween, during Halloween, or on All Hallows Eve, November 1st. You could have put a costume on anyways, and did whatever you chose to do. It is your stream. Your theme is not relegated to the time of day, or the type of day. DSP, you are the failure, and you are the failure that has chosen to make these bad decisions. And the only problem is, despite your projection and every other narcissistic game that you play, you look upon us, and you have that look in your face that says, you and I both know I am a sack of manure, and I will not change. And that is the ultimate failure, DSP.